From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said his political party, the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas or PFP, is starting to consolidate forces in preparation for the 2025 midterm elections. Speaking at the oath-taking of new members of the PFP in Pasay City, the president said that as chair of his party, he is already meeting with other key national parties to forge alliances for the elections. The chief executive said he wants PFP to prepare as early as now to allow them to properly plan their steps from the filing of candidacy in October up to the official election season next year. About 33 political figures, including 11 governors and 14 vice governors, took their oath before President Marcos as new members of the PFP. Let us now listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the oath-taking of new members of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas.
I am very happy to be able to come to this, I suppose we can call this a caucus of the Partido Federal. Let me greet the South Cotabato Governor and the PFP President Jun Tamayo, and someone who has been who I have been harassing to work behind the scenes and telling him to prove his worth. My son, Ilocos Norte, First District Governor, First District Representative, Sandro Marcos. We have some members of the cabinet here, the honorable members of the House of Representatives, and of course the new members of the PFP that we have just sworn in, the officers and members of the PFP ng Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, my fellow workers in government, and we greet also our host, si Don Ramon, who is here to join us in this very important affair. This distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I suppose it comes as no surprise that the reason that we are having these meetings is that we are trying to start to organize ourselves for the next election of next year. And as we know, kagaya ng mga lagi nating naririnig at siguro naging experience na rin natin, you cannot start too early for any election. And so we have begun. And what we have done is we have put together, we have reorganized the PFP so that in such a way to make our party ready for the upcoming elections in 2025. Now, as I am sure you are all well aware, pag sinasabing eleksyon ng 2025, ang talagang date na deadline natin lahat is October, because filing na tayo sa October. But the reason that we have been trying to put together, dahil nga, kung maalala ninyo, noong nakaraang eleksyon, ang ating ipinaglaban, ang ating pinagsisigaw ay yung pagkakaisa. At maganda naman, yung kung ganun ang ating naging mensahe, mukhang maganda naman dahil tinanggap ng Pilipino yan. Kaya't napakaganda nung naging resulta sa ating mga kasama, basta't sila ay nakibahagi doon sa pagkakaisa na movement na ginawa natin. Ngayon, sa aking palagay, yun pa rin ang hinahanap ng mga Pilipino. At kaya hindi naman sa sinasabi natin that we want to dominate the entire political scenery. But what we need to do is not to dominate anything. But what we need to do is to be able to bring onto the fold all the different elements of society, all the different elements of the political, the political structure, so that we are all working together. Now, if you look at it, we have not yet been in office for 2 years, but in that small time, napakarami na nating nagawa, napakarami na nating naumpisaan, and the reason is that because we have been working together. We have been following the same plan. We have come together, nakipag-ugnayan tayo. Ano bang problema dun sa inyong region, sa iyong probinsya, sa iyong bayan? At pinakinggan natin silang lahat ng hindi lamang yung mga political leader, kundi pati na ang taong bayan. At nakinig tayo. At sinama natin, ano sa palagay niyo dapat natin gawin? At tayo nag-isip at ginawa natin. Dahil sabay-sabay natin nagawa, sabay-sabay tayong gumagalaw, ay maganda naman ang nagiging resulta. Kaya sa palagay ko, sa darating na halalan, ay maliwanag na ang taong bayan dito sa Pilipinas ay talaga sinasabi, maganda itong ginagawa natin na sabay-sabay tayo tumutulong. And that is why we are trying to engage all of the different political, shall we say, factions to our own advocacy. And that advocacy is really for the development, sa kabubuti ng ating bansa, sa pagpaganda ng ating ekonomiya, sa pagbabantay sa pang-araw-araw na buhay ng bawat Pilipino, na ipaglalaban natin ang ating karapatan in terms of the international scene. Lahat yan, mukha naman, ay naunawaan ng tao yan. At naunawaan ng ating mga leader. Kaya ito yung ginagawa natin. Kaya dahan-dahan, we'll slowly begin to organize already what we are going to do for the next election. We are in the midst right now of organizing the PFP. We are organizing the different committees. Ngayon, alam nyo, hindi naman tayo lang ang tatakbo. Hindi lang naman yung partido natin ang tatakbo. Kasama dyan, siyempre, ang mga ibang malalaking partido. Yung iba dyan, kasama natin. Yung iba, titignan natin. Baka sumama rin, pero baka hindi. So, that is why ito yung laging mahirap. Kasi pagka tayo ay nag-coalition o nag-alliance, siyempre, siguro sa national, madaling siguro makapag-agree. Pero sa pag-local, yun ang medyo komplikado kung minsan ng sitwasyon. That is why we will begin to organize now ano man tawag natin dyan, Gov. June, steering committee, or we will organize a steering committee para makipag-ugnay sa iba't ibang partido na nasasama tayo, na makikipag-partnership tayo. At yun ang pinakamahirap talaga. Alam naman natin yun. Lahat naman ng eleksyon, lagi tayo napupunta dyan sa usapang yan. So that's the next thing that we have to do, is that we have organized a steering committee. We will then go and make our alliances with the different parties. Of course, nandyan ang lakas, NPC, NP, NUP, lalong-lalo sa House. Pero siyempre, kailangan din natin kausapin kasi mga governor, may sariling mga local party yan. So we have to come to some kind of arrangement. And that's the art. Yan, tignan na. Tignan natin yung galing ni Gov. Jun dito sa malaking problema na komplikadong problema na nakaharapin niya. But I think I have spoken to the leaders of the other parties. And as far as I can tell, mukha naman, willing naman lahat ng tao na makipag-usap and find a way around all this. Para naman, ay pagdating ng halalan, ay tayo nagkakaisa. At maliwanag sa taong bayan kung sino ba ang talagang ini-endorso natin, sino ba talaga ang ating hinaharap sa kanila upang makapagserbisyo sa kanila. So that's what we are trying to. That's the process that we have begun today. So allow us to bring all of these forces together. I am still, of course, in my capacity as the head of the party, been talking to all of the other different parties and say, ano bang plano? What can we do? Are we working together? Are we not? Are you in opposition? Are you not? Are you with the majority? So these are I don't know why I'm even explaining this to you. You're all very experienced politicians. I don't need to naunawaan ninyo ito lahat at naranasan na ninyo lahat ito. So, but that's how we're going to build it up, and so that the reason that we started, we're now May. The reason that we started now is that I would really like, if possible, na by filing in October, maayos na. Now, medyo suntok sa buwan yan kasi laging may ibang nangyayari, mayroong bagong development. But never mind, we'll keep trying so that in October, everybody who is going to file, everybody who is going to be a candidate, knows how they will file, under what party, etc., what the arrangements are with our partners, with our allies, the other parties that we will be talking to. So that's something that we will that way. Pag naayos natin, kung maayos by October, kung maayos ang usapan natin, maganda tayo makapagplano from October to May. Para alam na natin kung paano gagawin natin. So that's why we have to start as early as possible. Siyempre, like in anything in politics, kung minsan nabibigla tayo, may nangyayari, may development na hindi natin inaasahan. But nonetheless, kailangan may plano na tayo. Kailangan may plano tayo na alam na natin gagawin. Yung bawat isa na kandidato natin, alam gagawin doon sa kanilang constituency, kung bayan man, kung probinsya man, kung meron tayong national candidate, alam gagawin. At kung meron mang nangyari na hindi nating na-predict, kaya nating gawan ng paraan kaagad. Because we are very clear in what our plan is and what we are trying to do. So so today we are witness to the beginning of that process. The beginning of that process wherein all of us are starting to consolidate our forces, so that our political forces, so that we can prepare ourselves properly for the next election. And what that entails is, number one, that by October, sana naman maliwanag na lahat na kung sinong PFP, kung sino ang ganito, kung sinong partido dyan, kung sinong magkasama, sinong hindi. And then, because importante sa akin yun dahil kapag maayos yung maliwanag kung sino ang lineup natin, and when I'm talking about national, I'm talking about provincial, I'm talking about municipal or city, kahit maliwanag na malawag sinong lineup natin, sa ganun, makapagplano tayo mabuti, makagawa tayo ng magandang plano para maging successful naman yung ating mga membro. And we will find a way to help each other. We will find a way we will assess sa bawat lugar. Sino ba talagang, malakas ito, walang masyadong, marami sa inyo, hindi naman kailangan ng tulong dahil masyadong malakas na. At hindi kayo naniniwala sa akin. Yung kagaya yung sinasabi ko, sinasabi sa akin dati nung nagka-asyang kami, sinabi nagkukwento kami ni President Widodo. Tsaka kasama ko si Prime Minister ng Japan at nag-uusap sila dahil may halalan sa Indonesia. Sabi ng Prime Minister ng Japan, sabi niya, well, you are not running, so you don't have to spend any money. So it's easier for you. Nagtinginan kami ni President Widodo. Sabi ko, yung last 2 terms ko sa governor, sa Ilocos Norte, wala akong kalaban. Pero, siyempre, lahat ng kasama ko, kailangan kong tulungan. Lahat ng mayor ko, kailangan kong tulungan. Tapos dagdag pa ron, sasabihin pa ng mga iba, wala ka namang ginagastos, sa akin na yung pera. Di ba? So, ganun pa rin yung gastos mo. So, there's no way around it. We still have to do this. We still have to do the work. We still have to fight hard. There is no easy election. That is something that I've learned. So that is why we have to be very well organized, that we have to be in constant communication with one another so that we know what's going on. And at the very beginning, trabaho ito ng ating leadership ng ating partido ay magkaroon tayo ng magandang plano, hindi lamang para sa national, kundi para sa lahat ng LGU, para lahat sa mga distrito ng mga congressman na kasama natin, mayroon tayong gagawin, but also in coordination with all the other parties that we are going to be in partnership with. So that's what we are doing now. And I know that all of you would want for this to succeed. And again, malakas din ang loob ko naman pagka napunta tayo sa talagang kampanya na uhaw pa rin ang tao para sa pagkakaisa. Talagang sa aking palagay, hanggang ngayon, ang tao ayaw na nila yung nag-aaway-away, ayaw na nila walang nangyayari dahil puro politika na lang ang pinaglalaban, ganun ang aking naramdaman mula ng Mayo noong 2022. Para sa akin, maliwanag yan. Kaya ibuuhin natin ang ating grupo at laging nasa isip natin na ginagawa natin ito, siyempre, para makapagserbisyo na mabuti sa taong bayan. And that is the best way to do it. So, to the newly sworn-in members to the PFP, welcome, and I hope and we will make sure that you will find a fine political home here in the Partido Federal. And beyond that, let us work together and let us continue to keep in mind that what is the best way for us to serve our people is to come together and to work as one.
And you just heard the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the oath-taking of new members of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday ordered the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW to further strengthen the government's programs to protect Filipino workers outside of the country. In his message during the 122nd Labor Day commemoration, the President wants the DMW to ensure that the government is always open, especially during the time of need of overseas Filipino workers or OFWs. The chief executive said the government should continue to mobilize the 2.8 billion peso action fund to protect distressed OFWs, attain justice, and be safe from harm during global crises and emergencies. President Marcos also ordered to strengthen labor diplomacy at the bilateral and multilateral levels to ensure the safe and ethical recruitment processes of OFWs, especially those that serve as host countries. In relation to this, President Marcos Jr. directed the DMW, Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE, and other concerned government agencies to strengthen its coordination for the development of programs for the reintegration of returning OFWs.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday appealed to both houses of Congress to pass a measure that will support the job creation agenda of the government. Among these measures are the Enterprise-Based Education and Training Program Law, Revised Apprenticeship Program Act, and the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for enterprises to maximize opportunities for invigorating the economy or create more law. In his speech during the Labor Day celebrations, the President thanked Filipino workers and at the same time recognized their role to the success and development of the country. President Marcos underscored that they are the faces of Bagong Pilipinas or New Philippines, so it is only but fitting to give them the recognition, respect, and admiration they truly deserve.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday reported that there are 21 foreign investors that are currently processing their business registration in the country. The chief executive mentioned this during his speech at the Labor Day celebrations. President Marcos said the 21 foreign investors are part of the almost 200 projects that the Department of Trade and Industry or DTI is waiting for, which is worth 4 trillion pesos. According to President Marcos Jr., there are 8 businesses that are currently ongoing in the country that resulted from his foreign trips. The President also mentioned the approval of the Investment Promotion Agency, which cost 1.7 trillion pesos, which will generate 108,100 jobs for Filipinos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday unveiled the commemorative stamps for the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Labor Code of the Philippines during the occasion of the 122nd Labor Day celebration in Malacañang Palace. Witnessing the unveiling ceremony were Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Speaker of the House of Representatives Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, Labor Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma, and Postmaster General Luis Carlos. The fundamental law that governs the welfare, protection, and well-being of every Filipino worker was signed on May 1, 1974 by President Marcos's father and namesake, the late former President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr. The stamps symbolize the enduring significance of the law in realizing our collective aspiration for every Filipino worker to attain total and productive Productive Employment, the Philippine Postal Corporation or PhilPos said in a news release. In his speech, the president reaffirmed the government's commitment to advancing workers' rights and welfare. The PhilPos said it would sell copies of the two stamp designs depicting the historic signing of the Philippine Labor Code with denominations of 16 pesos each, with 40,000 pieces of the stamps to be released, along with 3,400 copies of the first day cover envelope. The stamps were designed by Nazar Ren Aquino of the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE and Jose Antonio Jaime of the PhilPost.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippines National Anti-Poverty Commission or NAPC on Wednesday agreed with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s order for a timely review of the minimum wage amid the rising cost of goods and services in the country. In an interview, NAPC formal labor and migrant workers sectoral representative Edwin Bustillos said the review on wage increase is not contrary to the ongoing initiative in Congress to discuss the 150 peso legislated wage hike. In March 2023, Senators Juan Miguel Zubiri, Loren Legarda, Nancy Binay, and Christopher Lawrence Go filed Senate Bill number 2002 entitled Across the Board Wage Increase Act of 2023 or an act providing for a 150 pesos daily across the board increase in the salary rates of employees and workers in the private sector and for other purposes. Bustillos believed that if this was endorsed by the executive branch and if both chambers of the legislative branch of government concur, it would provide a clear explanation to the President regarding the urgency of implementing a wage hike. President Marcos urged the regional tripartite wage and productivity boards to review the minimum wage in celebration of the 122nd Labor Day.
Dateline Malacañang.
Social Weather Stations or SWS said that hunger among Filipino families have slightly increased in the past 3 months. According to the March SWS survey, 12.6% of Filipino families experience involuntary hunger from January to March this year. This is 1.6 percentage points higher than the hunger rate registered in December last year. The survey also showed that the highest incident of hunger came from families in Metro Manila at 19%. On the other hand, hunger rate dropped in Mindanao from 12% in December to 8.7% this March. The SWS survey was conducted from the 21st to the 25th of March using face-to-face interviews on 1,500 individuals aged 18 and above.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Education or DepEd is considering to shorten in-person classes in the coming school year as part of its aggressive stance on reverting back to the old school calendar. During the hearing of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, Education Assistant Secretary Francis Bringas said that this is the most aggressive suggestion of DepEd to bring back the summer vacation of students during the months of April and May. In its proposal, the DepEd said they could possibly limit the number of full in-person classes for school year 2024 to 2025 to 165 days. But this will also include alternative delivery modes during weekends or holidays to complete the mandatory 180 school days for each school year. Bringas also admitted that along with the aggressive plan, teachers' school break will be decreased, which in turn will affect their vacation pays. The DepEd said that with the creation of all learning competencies, students may experience a compressed academic year. Meanwhile, Senator Francis Tolentino expressed his support for the proposal to change the academic calendar due to the extreme heat that both the learners and teachers have been experiencing these past weeks. Tolentino also underscored the importance of parental discretion in deciding whether students should attend school. Both Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri and Senator Sherwin Gatchalian earlier urged the DepEd to implement the change in the academic calendar as soon as possible because of the continuing hot weather.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Migrant Workers or DMW warned Filipinos to not fall victims to scams offering jobs from various social media platforms. The DMW said do not accept jobs offers, especially from those that ask for money to process documents and those promising to fly them to a different country in the shortest amount of time. This is amid the rising demand for overseas Filipino workers or OFWs and those wanting to have jobs abroad. In his message during a job fair in Quezon City, Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said all jobs abroad will have to pass through the agency. This is to make sure that the recruitment agency is legal and follows labor standards. Secretary Kakdak added that they are using work visas and not tourist visas like some Filipinos to avoid any obstacles and problems.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila. Dateline Malacañang.